Okay, let's just clear something up right out of the gate. When we think about Dubai today, it is so easy to assume it's just this city built overnight on an endless, bottomless sea of oil money. But the actual truth? It's far, far more fascinating than that.
I mean, think about it. Just 60 years ago, Dubai was essentially a destitute desert town. We're talking coral stone homes, palm leaf huts, and literally no electricity or running water. Compare that to the modern metropolis of today with the 828-meter Burj Khalifa, massive artificial islands, and fully automated driverless metros. This transformation into a futuristic megacity is genuinely one of the greatest underdog stories in human history. To figure out exactly how they defied the odds, we're going to walk through their journey in 5 stages: the desert village origins, the collapse of the pearl trade, vision over oil, engineering the impossible, and finally, the modern luxury empire.
All right, part 1. The desert village origins. Let's rewind way back, long before the supercars and the skyscrapers, to a time when just surviving the harsh Arabian sun was a daily, grueling struggle.
The real starting line here is 1833. That's when about 800 members of the Bani Yas tribe, led by the Maktoum family, actually left Abu Dhabi and settled along a natural waterway known as Dubai Creek. That was the defining moment that laid the region's very first true foundation.
And because they were surrounded by an unforgiving desert with no fresh water or viable agriculture, Dubai Creek became their absolute lifeline. They were just a quiet fishing village, scraping by on Gulf fish, camel milk, and whatever dates they could manage to harvest.
Moving into part 2, collapse of the pearl trade. Believe it or not, Dubai actually found its first real taste of wealth hidden deep underwater. But it was an industry that almost destroyed them entirely.
Long before they ever struck oil, pearls were Dubai's main source of income, but harvesting them was unbelievably perilous. Men would dive deep underwater for months at a time, and get this, entirely without oxygen tanks. They simply held their breath to harvest natural oysters, risking their lives every single day just to trade with India and Europe.
This incredibly dangerous trade sustained them for a while, until a massive technological shift hit the market. Dubai's natural pearls were expensive, rare, and dangerous to get. But then, in the 1930s, Japan introduced cultured pearls. These were cheap, mass-produced, and perfectly shaped. Combine that innovation with the 1929 Great Depression, and Dubai's pearl industry was completely wiped out overnight, plunging the village right back into deep poverty.
So you really have to ask yourself, how on earth do you save a city that has absolutely zero natural resources and a completely collapsed economy? Facing total ruin, Dubai had to pivot aggressively, which set the stage for a massive leadership gamble that would end up changing the Middle East forever.
That brings us to part 3, vision over oil. It was during this truly desperate time that a visionary leader, Sheikh Rashid, realized that trade, not natural resources, was Dubai's only real hope for survival. He initiated what was then a highly controversial 1959 master plan. He took out massive loans from Kuwait specifically to dredge and widen the muddy Dubai Creek. Now, people thought he was absolutely crazy to take on that kind of debt, but his goal was clear: allow large international cargo ships to dock and re-establish Dubai as a tax-free trading hub. And you know what? The massive risk paid off, bringing global merchants right back and saving the local economy. Now, I really want you to let this next number sink in, because it completely shatters the whole oil money myth. Today, oil accounts for less than 1% of Dubai's GDP. Less than 1%. See, when a relatively small amount of oil was finally discovered off the coast in 1966, the leadership made a brilliant strategic decision. They treated it as a strictly limited resource. Instead of spending it on immediate consumption, they used it purely as seed money. Every single penny went into building the global infrastructure, the roads, schools, hospitals, and deepwater ports that they would need for the next 50 years.
They then executed 3 massive steps to lock in their future. Step 1. Form the United Arab Emirates in 1971 to ensure political stability. Step 2. Open the Jebel Ali Free Zone in 1979, offering zero-tax corporate ownership to attract giant global companies. And Step 3. Launch Emirates Airlines in 1985 to literally bring the world right to the desert. By pulling off these 3 steps, Dubai laid the economic foundation to transform from a simple regional port into a global business capital.
All right, part 4, engineering the impossible. This is the era you are probably most familiar with, where Dubai basically decided to just engineer its way out of its geographic limitations.
To attract global tourism and luxury capital, they had to answer a pretty wild question. How exactly do you build a 160-story skyscraper on shifting sand in 122-degree heat? They knew they had to push the absolute limits of physics and architecture.
And the stats behind how they did it are just staggering. To put Dubai on the map, they built the Burj Khalifa. At 828 meters, it's the tallest building on Earth, requiring a massive Y-shaped foundation just to keep it from tipping over in intense desert winds. Then, they built the Palm Jumeirah. It's a massive artificial island that required 5.5 million cubic meters of rock, which magically added roughly 50 miles of highly valuable brand-new beachfront property.
It literally became an ethos of engineering over geography. Because there are no natural rivers, nearly 99% of their drinking water comes from massive ocean desalination plants. They built indoor snowy ski slopes inside a shopping mall. The Miracle Garden somehow sustains 45 million flowers in the middle of a barren desert. And driverless, fully automated metro lines seamlessly connect the entire city. It is an entire infrastructure built on the stubborn, relentless attitude that absolutely nothing is impossible.
Which brings us to our final section, Part 5, the Modern Luxury Empire. So, what is it actually like to live, work, and thrive in this engineered oasis today? The demographics alone are fascinating. Get this, only about 10% of the population are actually local Emiratis. A staggering 90% are expatriates, from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Western nations, and beyond. It's this incredible melting pot built by a massive foreign workforce who flock there for tax-free salaries, even though they rarely obtain actual citizenship.
To sustain this hypergrowth, Dubai's modern economy is propped up by a few diverse pillars. You've got luxury tourism, anchored by mega attractions like the Dubai Mall and the famous 7-star Burj Al Arab. There's global logistics and trade flowing through the massive Jebel Ali port. Finance and real estate are booming, driven by laws allowing foreign property ownership. And finally, future tech innovation, spearheaded by AI initiatives and the genuinely breathtaking Museum of the Future.
There's a quote from Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum that really hits the nail on the head regarding the city's relentless ambition. He said, "The race for excellence has no finish line." And true to his word, they are already executing the 2040 Urban Master Plan, aiming to dedicate 60% of the city to green spaces, all while trying to double the economy yet again.
And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought to wrap up this explainer. If a destitute desert village can engineer itself into the capital of the future in just 50 years, what city is going to rise next? If vision and massive risk-taking can conquer the harsh Arabian desert, what other impossible transformations are just waiting to happen in our world? Thank you so much for exploring this remarkable journey with me. Keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.